Okay, so we're jumping straight into red.
Good card.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, it's a pretty good card. It makes me want to play Apple still, basically.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that even before this came out.
So level one bomb,
Mhm.
and when it gets reversed, you got to give power.
It's not going to be very hard to do.
No, it's a very good card.
Yeah.
Very, very well deserved of its rarity.
Okay, next.
Yeah, like, it's a good one. Get
Yeah.
him. There's a
Run it.
reason they're 11.
Find it. Run it. Next. I like this card personally.
I think it's great.
I mean, I wouldn't like necessarily run a lot of it, but like I feel like this as a card, it's fantastic.
Competes with room, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because, like, I like that you don't need a, climax combo.
I also like that it's on attack burn as opposed to on reverse. Like
Definitely gets around money and compasses.
it makes it like this would be most often compared to Under One Roof, the Misakuro.
Would it?
I mean, they both heal, but the Misakuro, this can come in early too, can't it?
No,
I
that's
think
I don't
it has
know.
a change.
I don't think this one has a change.
Oh, does it not say that in the text?
No, it doesn't.
Well, it wouldn't have it.
Alright.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. So yeah. So I mean, Misakuro changes. This doesn't, but this is on attack burn for the same cost, or the other
I
one
don't even
is
think
on reverse.
Misakuro change is just an option. I don't even think that's the best change.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And so basically, you're looking at like 95 base gets bigger and on reverse burn versus 10k base on attack burn. And most of the time, I take the on attack burn. I don't know.
I think so too. Mostly because money exists and is very relevant. And compass, obviously.
Yeah. This card is very hard for me to gauge on like where it's at because it's
It will
like
depend on the meta. Like,
yeah.
because the heal is a thing that doesn't work very well with the top yellow-green meta decks. Whereas the burn is something that works well.
Yeah.
So, like, if your meta does not have anti-heal, does not really have the anti-burn, this card might actually be better than the Clock Kikomura, although a lot more costly. But Clock Kikomura is just probably better in most circumstances,
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
assuming a competent meta. Like, if you're playing against theme decks, doesn't really matter what you're running at level 3.
Well, next card down the list,
It's a bomb.
and it has shift.
I think this is actually one of the reasons you still want to run red.
Yeah, I think this card is great.
It's
I think it's less good than the Kantai equivalent, but I think it's still great.
It's only
I'm
less good than the
pretty-
Kantai equivalent because Kantai
Yeah.
has like a trillion good green cards. This Madoka is getting less and less good red cards, so
Yeah.
like what can I
I
say?
would- Oh, go ahead.
Aside from gates and a magical girl appears and bombs, I don't think there's really much reason to run red. So the secondary ability is it's like a thing and sets it apart from the vanilla bomb from the first set. And that for me sells the card.
Yeah, I think it's better than the Vanilla Bomber from the first set for sure. But at the same time, I already stopped running the Vanilla Bomb in my version of Madoka quite a while ago. I just
Oh,
run,
is it? Alright.
yeah, I just run like Clock Encore Cube to center a lot more.
Oh, I run both.
Yeah, I kind of gave up on the bomb for the most part because at the time, everyone here had like +1 level zeros every time, and so like that card was like always dead to me. So I was
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so I was like, I'd rather be able to tackle my Brainstormer and Clock Encore it, or like the Sayaka looking up to Mommy from the first set and Clock Encore
Of
it,
course, yeah.
than run a vanilla bomber. But that might change now if there's a lot less like level 1 people at 0. So
Well, like, what sets even do that anymore? Like, I can't think of that many.
Idol
Yeah.
Master.
oh yeah,
Oh,
screw you out of Massel.
IMAS like the deck I hate the most, but no one runs it, so I'm really happy.
Besides IMAS, I mean, all you really run into is the solo plays.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
Yuki.
yeah, I think a lot of
Peak.
times those have become like less popular too. I've seen it a lot less. That's why it's like kind of suicide level zero suiciders or reversers, kind of more relevant again, I guess, for Madoka. But yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, next card is Tea Party of Magical Girls Kyoko. Uh, One cost, drop a card when it's placed from hand to stage, do some roundabout nonsense, and it's like a one cost, drop one salvage. It's like the Mickey from Idolmaster, except
Yeah,
you have to
but
do a
yeah.
bunch of stuff and you get
Red
1k.
Red Girlfriends actually has this, and I played with it. I hate it. It sucks.
all right, cool.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't think it's bad. I think it's just like the effect itself. You can't call it bad, but
yeah,
the fact that you have to jump through added hoops is bad.
Yeah,
yeah. It's good and like horrible at the same time, which is like so awkward.
And
Get
yeah, like we
it
said, the
changes your
1k
attack.
power,
Yeah,
1k
and it
power really
randomly
matters.
it randomly changes your attack order too against Kantai, which could like make it really awkward sometimes.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that sounds like it would be irritating. Like I've not played with this effect, so I'm just going off uh theory, but it doesn't seem like something where you get enough of a benefit to supersede just the one cost drop on salvage.
yeah, I
Yeah.
completely agree. Next up,
All right.
anti-change counter, and it sacks, which is always good.
It's like the DC one or the Gorilla Chitoge Ghost
Yeah.
thingy. It's good. It has a bond,
Every
which
day.
is even better.
I mean,
basically.
I feel like if you're gonna run a counter, you can run this in two of, or you can also just run it as one of. It's like a specific tech option against certain
Well,
decks.
not only does Madoka have like a trillion ways to retrieve things, this also has a clock bond.
Yep.
A clock bond? It might be a cost bond. I don't remember, but
A
we'll get
bond.
to it. It has a bond, which makes it even better. Although you are really telegraphing it to your opponent, a competent player will be assuming that you have that anyway and play as if you do, so it's not that big a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean-
and the bonder is pay one bond. I'm pretty sure.
The
I
fact that
remember.
it sacks a card though is always like a huge plus. I mean, the fact
Yeah.
that like you can potentially reduce the damage you take by one, or prevent
Yeah.
like an important restand that could kill you.
Exactly. Like for people who aren't aware and think that going neg 1 is actually a bad thing, it's not, because once you get rid of a character on stage, it can't be clock kicked. Opponents can't reverse it, which means if they've got restand on reverse or ping on reverse, they don't get to do that. That's why
Yeah,
it's good.
I love these counters just because of that. I won so many Nisekoi mirror matches just because of the Chitoge Ghost counter, which is the same thing as this.
See,
when-
I ran 2 or 3 Chitoge Ghost counters in my Nisekoi from the beginning because it changed the whole dynamic of the mirror match.
Yeah, that was the only reason I like ran it too in my
The
deck.
1-0 counter
Yeah.
sucks. Like, I don't know why you'd run that over just letting your 1-0s die and put those slots towards 2-1 counters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a good counter. Use it. It's pseudo anti-damage, and anti-damage is always good.
Also the fact that it's like a 2-1 counter and it's not an
Yeah,
event,
it's still a,
it means that you can actually just
Sometimes-
splash this in whatever deck you want. I mean,
yeah,
there's no-
sometimes if you hit the jackpot and you manage to sack a character, give the power to something relevant, that's just so much value right there.
Yeah, it's also like I love character counters for this too. Is that they're always splashable unless they're the ones that are a mommy counter from this set.
Of course. Anyway, next card. This is the
Yes.
Chihaya clone that was alluded to.
This is a very amusing card.
So, Kyoko, Determined Girl, when it comes to stage, drop a card from hand. If you played it from hand, or else it dies. There are ways to get around that. Or one cost. When this attacks, if the gate is in the Climax zone, you can pay 1. If you do, salvage 1, and it gets 1/5. So, anyone who's played Rewrite will have horrible traumatic flashbacks of being run over by a card very similar to this. I think this is both better and worse than that card. Do you guys mind if I talk a bit about this?
Go for
yeah.
it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've given this card a lot of thought. The Chihaya card was better in that the change was encore, so your opponent usually had to run something in. Which means they go basically neg 1 to you, unless they're playing like Railgun or something that can do rude things to level 2s. So, Madoka, as you might have surmised, is a draw phase set, draw phase change set, and the draw phase change in question is a 1/1 support. So the fact that you don't get that 9/5 immediately, and instead you might have things that will essentially die to Shimakaze or the girlfriend 1/0, that's a minus on this card for me. The second minus is the one cost with the Climax combo. While I usually like one cost on Climax combos because it's versatile, it lets you pay out climaxes. Here, I don't think that's something that Madoka wants because they want to just conserve stock and then play out the level 3s to heal or to clock kick or to whatever. And this is basically just a subpar beta after you get past the stage of level 2. Whereas in Rewrite, you went up another further level, making Chihaya a bit better than this card in terms of where it is placed in the deck. And lastly, I just don't like the fact it's changed from a support that you might want to keep on the field anyway. It feels like a loss of value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all really fair.
Yeah, I agree. It like if you're playing this card, especially with the change, it's gonna eat up a lot of slots anyway.
You would never play it without the change.
Yeah.
It's not worth playing.
This card could be like good if the ability wasn't if it wasn't salvage on attack is like the worst part about this for me. If it was like
pay cost on attack or salvage on attack?
yeah, salvage on attack. I don't really mind about paying one. If it was like if I reverse my opponent, then get a character that way.
We're talking about Hatsukaze slash
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Having to play around like the minus soul things like still like too real. And from like what I seen of like all the contact decks, it's most people are still picking the anti-salvage in Japan from what I hear, but here also like most people still pick anti-heal. So I don't know where everyone's like settled on that yet.
That surprises me because I feel anti-heal Kantai beats anti-salvage Kantai straight up.
Yeah,
like
I feel
yellow-green beats yellow-blue, so you should be playing yellow-green to beat yellow-blue. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That's why I don't know what's like going on really, because like the
Japan is
dynamics
weird.
between dynamics between Japan and like foreigners is like really weird
Japan
sometimes.
LB, like I never see
Yeah.
LB topping, even though it's like the best version of Kantai right now.
Yeah, it's like you can play old Kantai, but no one will play that deck for some reason.
Oh, they can't find the.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah. Wait, you cut out? I don't know if it cut out for you, but what did
He
you
cut
say?
out.
Yeah. Can't find what? The +2 soul, I assume you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that +2 soul is just absolutely
It
ridiculous.
changed the deck completely. Anyway, the last thing about this Kyoko is if you drew it late game, it was dead because you don't want to play it. You have to clock something. But this is a bit better as a late game play because ditching a card is better than taking 1 damage at that point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a decent deck for a Kyoko-centric card. Kind of like how there was an okay change for Marika in a Marika-centric deck. But ultimately, I don't think I'll be playing this in a starter list because I don't see it's why I would over all of the other fun options we got and the old Star Wars staples.
Yeah, I agree. Next
Yeah.
card is the
Holy Quintet for
the
Kyoko.
changer.
This is the changer. So it's a +1 level, +500 power. I like this card in Railgun, where Railgun is super susceptible to bombs. But if I'm playing apples, then I don't care if my stuff dies, I'll bond it back. So bombs don't matter to me.
Next, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, so it takes a back row slot, and
Yeah.
that's not something you want.
And then really quick on this too is +1 level nowadays is it can be really really awkward because anti higher level exists.
Yeah.
So depending matchup, it can be awkward. But that's about it.
In fairness, if somebody's wasting extra stock to kill off one of my characters and just neg 1 attack for me, like I don't really care too much.
It gets really awkward at higher levels if you've forgotten to remove it from the field and they anti-change to level 3.
I love it when people left off-time Makoto on the field against my old LB deck and just heal for days. It was great.
Well,
anyway, next
up,
QB. Those stats, the 215k, it suggests it's a support. It's not a support.
Yeah, it's
a filter, which is nice.
It's Cube. You build it in Cube.deck. I don't know why you would ever use this.
You actually could run this in like non-QA decks, but to be real, the Nisei Mono one was way better. The 0/0 Hachikuji that did the same thing basically, except didn't give
that,
power.
that that card was great.
Yeah, that's basically this
Um,
card, except now it's a level 2 and it costs 1.
so the thing about this card is it's 2/1, and it's a red card, and it's not called A Magical Girl Appears.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my main issue with it.
Okay. Next.
Kyoko Morning Scene. Um, Yawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Power game again. Why? Is this 2/1 10k with
Uh,
one soul?
Filler.
You don't need level 2s as filler.
Ooh, awkward silence.
Awkward silence. Well, moving on to the next card. Well, he resolves Australian internet issues.
Oh yes.
Did I cut out?
Yes, you did. We're
Wonderful.
we're moving on to the other on Climax trigger assigned power,
Oh boy.
and this one's even
This
worse.
one is no. I think it's better because
You
it
think
doesn't
it's
cost
better? Yeah.
one. Doesn't cost
Oh,
one.
that's fair.
why
It
it's
doesn't
better.
cost anything. It's
Oh,
frontal
so
5.
that one was like super all in on your turn, whereas this one is like, it's the cost to play this in both your deck and on the field is pretty low. Like I happily play the Mikoto bombs in my railgun deck in the back row just for the trigger effect. So this card it's fine. It just competes with apples and other things in the
Yeah.
back row.
Yeah, it competes with some like other stuff you would rather run. I do think this card is good though. So like,
Mm.
I could see it like being in any list for the most part that runs red, or is
Yep.
any list actually because it's level 0. So
All right, next 00 Vanilla. That's not got Sayaka in the name.
yeah, why isn't Sayaka on this card? I thought they're like trying to do like those one true pairing stuff going on.
Where's
and then-
that Kyoko and Sayaka card? It's probably in blue.
Even in the OTP deck, would you run that?
No.
Okay, this Kyoko, you run it in a Kyoko dot deck. That's what I do with every 3/5 that can't side. You run it in the mono character deck.
That's
It belongs in.
completely fair. All right, we got another Cube.
Isn't this just... People said this was the exact same combo as something else from the first set.
It's Climax combo, ditch a magic card to gain 3,500 power till the end of
Not
opponent's turn.
ditch,
It's-
sack
it's
from
from
your
field,
field.
Sorry,
Sack from the
sack.
field.
I guess this card is good with the level 1 Suicider, but I don't think it.
It's
Is it?
Good.
I'm not sure it is.
I mean,
Well, I mean, you run the
now-
level 1 Suicider in, and then
You better be running the
kill
plus
it.
level support with
So,
this.
so we're talking about you'd better be running the plus level support. You're talking about level bombs and that in the same sentence. That doesn't sustain itself in front of a level bomb unless the 1/1 support's on the field.
Oh no, I'm saying it works well with the level bomb.
Oh, no,
'cause
I know,
You sack
but,
it on reverse. or
Yeah.
whatever,
In a
but
meta that also has level 1 bombs in it,
Yeah.
this card is then rendered unviable, even though it has a synergy.
And even
Yeah.
if they didn't have level bomb, it's still fundamentally a level 1 card.
Yeah,
You can always just side attack it.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Alright, next 1/0 non-psycho vanilla, also non-bondable, also non-playable.
1/1. This one's fun card.
Have you read that bingo thing I posted up?
Yes. This is
bingo
marking.
grid?
This is marking
Yeah,
that.
does this count as a 1/1 oversized that can't be bombed?
I mean, it gets to 11/5 if you run the proper back row.
I do like that it combos with +2 soul. It combos with +2 soul, right?
Yes.
Pretty solid.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. It gets huge. It gets the
Yeah.
9,500 power on the Climax combo. Can't be bombed. You do have to clock yourself, which kind of sucks, but it's not like the end of the world.
You're playing +2 soul. Chances are, if any of that sticks, you've come even.
Ahead or even.
Ahead, probably, yeah.
And you also have a really good option, actually, as far as back row is concerned with this, with a Kyoko that we'll see later that gives 1,000 on opponent's turn to all... Or, sorry, with a
Yeah,
Sayaka
Sayaka,
that gives it to
yeah.
all Kyokos on opponent's turn.
Yeah, that was a card straight for the Kyoko dot deck.
Yeah.
Which is pretty solid.
And it works wonderfully with this. You're basically looking at 11,500 power walls, which is way too big for most decks to deal with.
Yeah, pretty much. They can side over it though.
Yeah, but I
But at
mean,
that point, you've guaranteed that you've kept characters on the field,
if
and they're
you've
not tiny.
if you've basically if they sided, then the clocking yourself is basically gone even. Because
Effectively, yes.
effectively gone even. If they fronted, then you get to get that +1 damage back on your own turn, so then effectively could go even again.
Well, I mean, it's effectively even, but 2 damage and 2 instances of 1 damage are very different.
This is true. If you run the plus level assist with this, you're instead
Oh,
getting
yeah. There
11k
you go.
2 level 2s that can't be bombed.
Yeah, well, my stance on all power decks is not the most favorable, but this is definitely something that you can run if walling is your strategy.
Yeah.
It would be a meta decision for sure. I mean, that's what all power decks are generally looking to be.
Well, I don't like power decks because they're not very versatile when push comes to shove.
That's fair.
Yeah, like you whiff your combo, or you whiff your pieces and you're not that big, and then you just lose to the deck that was prepared.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up.
Alright, next card, the command reshuffle. There are many places where this is good, but all of those are best case scenario mentality. Drawing this card in the average situation, I wouldn't be too happy about it.
Yeah, I again, it's a both player refresh on a level 1 card. That's not generally one you need to be refreshing anyways. It's not a counter like Demolition, and you have free refresh options in other colors.
Yeah. This is a very unneeded card.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. That puts us into blue.
No,
Oh,
we've
there's
still got
one
event.
more.
Did we miss
We've got Burger King.
Oh, I did miss an event. Sad days.
It's okay. This is a clone of Burger King Maniac from Idolmaster, I think.
BK Maniac? Yeah.
BK Maniac, yeah. You salvage one, and then a character gets 1k.
And no, it got more power, but you had to clock yourself with the BK Maniac, I think.
Was it? Alright.
Let me double check.
Aren't there multiple versions of BK Maniac at this point? I don't remember.
Probably, yeah. This is in Love Live as well.
Yeah. Card's not
I'm-
bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but why don't you just wait a little longer and then play a Magical Girl Appears?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's my entire reasoning for why I don't think this card is very good.
Yeah, BK Maniac is salvage, give a card 3k, but you clock
You have
yourself.
to punch yourself.
And
Those
then-
burgers hurt, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yep.
that's red, and we can move on to.
Blue.
Best girl. All right.
Oh, okay.
We'll let you talk about best girl because this is a very informal show type thing.
I mean,
But I personally disagree. She's not best girl. I won't
That's
get started
fine.
on this.
going
All
into
right.
blue, though, any card with Sayaka in the name is automatically better than an equivalent card that doesn't have Sayaka in the name. Just because
Agreed.
Sayaka's Wish is a card.
Oh, so actually, no, Sayaka might be best girl. Yeah, she might. Sorry, I'm a little off track. I'm a little bit off track.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right because Sayaka's Wish is an amazing card that people, even when they overrate it, they're not rating it highly enough.
Yeah.
Except for the people who are underrating it and just do not understand.
The pains of dealing with Sayaka's Wish. It is. No.
Oh, Kit,
stop,
you can
stop,
tell
mommy, stop.
all about those stories about Sayaka's wishing a Sayaka's Wish.
Oh man, I love those days. Oh, I don't even want to get started. It's just like, oh, I just want to cry every
Plays,
time that
though.
happens,
The
man.
plays.
I cry every time.
Plays.
Well, we're starting
Anyway.
off with not a
A
bang.
level X. It's a level X which is mostly unnecessary for the deck. It feels like filler. I think it's filler.
I can't
Alright.
believe this card's a double rare.
No, okay, I think this is like a really good card.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad card.
Yeah,
I
mean,
I can't believe it's a double rare.
Sayaka's on it?
okay, Sayaka's on it is a plus. All right, it's like the saving grace for this card, but it's also a level assist. But it has the pay to tap search for a magic character, which can be abused with the 1/0 green Madoka we talked about earlier. But besides
Sure.
that,
Yeah,
it
fair
still has
enough.
Sayaka in the name. Which means
Okay,
like it's
okay.
forever on the field. Your opponent's not going to get rid of it. So every
That
time they
means
spin
this is
attack,
effectively front row.
yeah, this is like forever like faking out your opponent. Does he have the Sayaka wish? Does he not? Like the only reason I like this card because it's back row,
Yeah,
and
No,
like your opponent doesn't interact with it.
back
I
row
gave
cycles
up.
are definitely.
I completely gave up trying to think, does he have Sayaka's wish or not? I just go over the top. That's all you can do.
You
They
say
haven't.
that you front attack and then like put a Psychic Wish on top of the clock, and then you have to attack again. And now you're sitting there going, "Why God? Why?"
See, this is why I play +2 soul, so I can side everything.
See,
All
this
right.
is why I'm glad I made that change to my Terraformers deck, running that blue +2 soul combo. Nothing more terrifying than killing a
That
dude by
is
doing
that
7
is a
straight to their face.
terrifying effect, by the way. I'm frightened by that effect.
I killed a man doing 7 straight to the face.
Yeah, you
Some
killed
Japanese
me
guy told me.
doing pretty much that.
Except I did that in one attack.
Okay, yeah, you win.
Okay, but moving on,
Alright,
Sayaka good
next.
card because Sayaka is in the name, and the effects are okay, but not
I
mandatory.
think they're pretty damn good.
Like, they're very good. I didn't think this would be a double rare, don't get me wrong. Like, this would be a
I
card
did.
that I would see,
This is
I don't,
basically Onodera.
basically on it there.
Um, as in the green one.
I love
Because
being on there.
what I
I'm talking
remember
about the 2-1
about green.
still. I'm talking the 3-2 I'll get to in a second.
Oh, we're still talking about the 2-1.
Okay,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, that card's so mediocre.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
the 3-2, I
but it's
love
still good.
I love this 3-2 card. This 3-2 card is pure insanity in my book. My first good tournament deck was my yellow-green Nisekoi deck that I bought for $80. And
Green Odera.
Green Odera is the best card I have ever had the pleasure of working with for an extended period of time.
Green Odera is the triple cancel machine.
I mean, there are very few moments where I couldn't say I got to level 2. I had 2 counters in my hand, 6 stock, and a gold bar.
It's a strong card. And this one is not far off. I don't think the Climax combo is nearly as worthwhile.
Yeah,
But I do think the other effects are great.
Yeah, I mean, versus Onodera, you're basically looking at a cheaper early condition play. It's 6 climaxes and drop as opposed to a change, which is less strenuous on your hand, slightly more difficult to arrange. I mean, it is possible to not get that effect every game.
Yeah, it's pants.
The climax comes with pants, which is still acceptable, but you do pay for this effect versus the Green Odera, which you don't.
Look, I don't mind because what that Climax combo actually says is pay 1, remove 2 cards that aren't climaxes from your deck, triple cancel your opponent's next 3 attacks.
Make
That's
them-
what it actually says.
make
Is that what it says? I thought it was pay 1, remove 2 damage from your deck, but then immediately trigger a climax.
No, that you clearly don't think Onodera is best girl because she has
Oh,
never
man.
done that to me. She has never done that to me.
In my experience, even with my glorious book a gate 3 times in one turn, I haven't had that happen to me with Green Odera.
And why does those happen to me?
But
Because you think, if I recall correctly, you think Marika is best girl, and that's just
Oh man.
something wrong with you, man.
Anyways,
There's something
but
wrong with you.
that said, I think one of the best parts of this card, though, is definitely the 4K on the opponent's draw step is one of the most frustrating
Yeah.
effects to play around.
It's pretty good. It basically wins you a row. It's equivalent to the extremely frustrating field swap effects that Little Busters has.
Yes.
I'm sure that you've both played against it, and I have the
Yeah.
dubious honor of pioneering that at my locals.
One of
Pioneering my opponent takes 5.5 minutes to decide what they attack with, and then still make the wrong decision.
Exactly. One of my favorite parts about this effect, actually, and the fact that it's on a Sayaka, like, this is already good. You can give it to somewhere else, and then Sayaka's wish this one. Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, now you're going deep.
you can't, this card just doesn't lose. It doesn't, like, have any, like, poor situations other than if you miss the overlevel condition, it's kind of at that point, but, like,
Still fine.
it's still fine. It's just, like,
It's a 14k at the very worst.
it's like, it doesn't miss. There's no failure for this card.
And the very worst is that they have a full field, you have to run this in, you don't get a 14k. Let's hope that never happens, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we've made it abundantly clear. This card is very playable for various reasons, and you can fit it into your deck as you see fit, whether that's playing the pants combo, whether that's
Not.
playing this as an early. Yeah, I don't think you need to play the pants combo. Although it is a very big snowball win more card,
Yeah.
I personally don't think it's necessary.
I personally like this combo. I think this effect is very, very good.
Oh no, once you've gone off once or twice with the equivalent Nisekoi combo, you will be a devoted follower for life. It's just um I've seen very high places, so I've got higher standards.
Next up is a spammable brainstormer with Sayaka in the name.
Yeah. It's Sayaka. She
Sayaka.
goes in the back row. All right.
All right, moving on. Spammable search, always good.
Yeah.
I really.
It's also got Sayaka in the name, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I can't forget that. So I'm a really big fan of this card, which also has Sayaka in the name. This is actually like one of my favorite cards. As far as
Sayaka the
mangas.
podcast.
I mean, when you have a card as good as Sayaka's Wish, it's really hard to like not understate how important it is to have cards with Sayaka in the name.
I remember people in the foreign community saying that because the card didn't give the 1k to center like Sinon, it was a bad card. And I just
Oh,
kind of
man.
sat there. I sat
Yeah,
there.
I commented
was
and said, I think everyone forgot Sayaka's Wish is a card.
did you comment?
Yeah.
I unfollowed
It was-
that thread like I do
Yeah.
with all of them.
I commented and then unfollowed it immediately. But, like, yeah, I was just like,
I see that.
these guys complaining so hard.
So I'm a really big fan of this 1-0 shift though on the next
Yeah,
card.
this takes the place of the zombie Sayaka for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I hate zombie Sayaka.
I
hate it
hated
so
Zombie
much.
Sayaka too. The last version of the deck I had only had one Zombie Sayaka in it. Because I was like, screw it, I'm just going to play other cards.
I mean, this is a zero cost shiftable 6500 vanilla basically.
no,
It's only
6K.
6k.
Sorry,
Only
6K.
because it has
It's
shift.
also
Because it has
it's on
shift.
color. It has Sayaka in the name. It's
She has a cute
costless.
jacket.
Does she?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty cute.
her jacket hems have weed on them.
It's just, yeah.
It's very dank. It's
Yeah.
Dank memes brought to you by Sayaka.
no, but like legit, like this is probably one of my favorite cards printed in this
Definitely
set.
definitely one of the least highly rated cards right now, which should be highly rated.
Yeah, it expands the level 1 game a lot, which was like a really hard problem with running apples before. Because
Mm-hmm.
If you,
before,
yeah, like, you
if
didn't
you
really
played
have any
apples, you were super greedy about your level 1 game.
you did
and, like,
apples or you went broke.
The only games you like really lost were the ones where like 4 apples go to your clock immediately at level 1, or like 4 seconds go to your clock at level 1, and you're just like, well, I guess I lose this game.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
I
yeah.
just adore that this is like another out as far as like options level 1, and the fact that it's shiftable also means that like, oh, I have this in my hand, clock it, draw something useless, okay, shift.
Shift is like my favorite effect. The only deck I really use it a lot in is my green rewrite deck, and it is amazing. It pulls triple duty in that deck. So good.
Okay, good card.
Anyway,
Moving on.
did I mention it has Sayaka in the name?
No, we completely missed that point. Okay,
Next one.
Sayaka
This
in the name.
card is 1/1. A clone of that girlfriend character whose name I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Saya.
Saya. Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's
Her
incredible.
name is Saya, and she's also got a clone of the effect of the Little Busters Saya.
Yes.
Holy, wait,
And this one is Sayaka.
This is
Yeah.
real. This is real. Oh my
My God. Who is responsible for this? I need to shake their
I
hand.
don't know. Someone
It's
in
pretty,
R&D
that's,
and
it's pretty
Bushiroad.
solid, man. It's pretty damn solid. Anyway, I think this is a serviceable card that you'd run maybe one of.
I agree. I
Yeah,
mean,
I 100% agree with that too.
I don't see a reason to run more than one of this card. Like maybe two if you're concerned about consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like before, I think one of the toughest things to do was ditch climaxes if you didn't run a lot of psychos looking up to mommy for the
You
most
didn't.
part. Or
Could run like 4 or 5.
well, I don't know. Some people like
4 or
had
5.
like nut or something, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? But
Running,
Yeah.
running 5 of this card, man, that's legal.
See, this card is not game plan. It is never your game plan, but it is a great out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having additional outs never hurts, but I feel like you have a lot of other climax stitching opportunities in
Yeah.
the set right now anyways, that this isn't like mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On the
being
bright side
costed.
too, it's like Clock Encore also, I guess.
On a bright
So.
side,
It's
it
also
has
Sayaka.
Sayaka in the name.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Sayaka also, I believe.
Oh, yes.
I don't like the fact it's costed, but that's the price you pay, I guess.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
reverses a lot more than Sayaka,
Yeah.
the LB one,
Yeah.
which is the only one I've actually played with.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a great way to insulate yourself against floods, climax floods.
Yeah.
Oh, this card. This has seen some weird buzz. Sayaka Repelling Nightmare. When you place from hand to stage, if you've got a full field, you can put the top card of your library in stock, turn this into a 2/1 2-soul beta.
Sure.
And then whenever something else attacks, it gets 1k.
Okay.
Um,
My
I don't know
first
why. Yeah.
my first go-to is I wish it was Toma. My second point is it's totally serviceable as a 2/1 card, and it has Sayaka in the name, which is good.
Yeah.
It's just why would you play this 2/2 when you could potentially be playing the 3/2 early?
Yeah,
All
like
right,
it's seen
like-
a lot of buzz, and I don't understand
Yeah,
why.
I think it's like one or two people like talking about it a lot. Their argument is that that 1-0 encore to front support exists, but then if you have to run a card to run other bad cards, then I don't think that card's good.
Yeah.
Two bad cards does not make a good.
Yeah.
Oh, the Encore assist is mediocre. Two mediocre cards does not make what you should be
A
running.
serviceable combo.
Like, combos are combos, but unless they full on go off, I'm really on this card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two Soul is nice, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is probably the best version of the oversized 2/1 because it has Two Soul.
Okay. Next card is fun.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
the
is
anti-brainstorm.
Is she holding a chicken? What's she
yeah,
holding?
like goose or something. I don't know.
Some food. So first off, this bonds to the 2/2.
Oh,
We just-
two. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, the 2/2 we're just talking about. Secondly, it's
No,
anti-brainstorm.
not. This isn't bond to the 2/2. This is the
Or-
bond to the Kyoko.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the Kyoko, not the Sayaka Repelling Nightmare. The Kyoko. Which Kyoko is that?
It's the. I think this is the one that's bonds to the 2-1 counter, isn't it?
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, this bonds to the 2/1
okay.
counter.
So I opened up your Yute, and it does indeed look like chicken,
It does indeed look like chicken. Wonderful.
I think. That's the most important thing about the card for me, the art. I don't know where you fit this into your deck.
I don't think the anti-brainstorm effect is relevant enough to justify running it. And
Yeah.
For
it's
that?
like this is like a cute card, but
I mean,
The only anti-brainstorm worth running is the Haruhi one that pings them.
yeah.
oh, Haruhi.
Poor Haruhi. I don't. Even though it's a good bond, with a good secondary effect to a good card. See, that's how tight on space these lists are. Like, did you hear what I just said? It's a bond to a good card, and it has a not bad secondary effect.
Yeah.
You still can't find room for it.
I mean, this is the problem that you're running into when you have 200 cards to pick from. It's just
200
okay.
cards to pick from, and
You-
you have to pick the best.
you silly person with little busters and your 450 cards to look at. But
In reality, it's more like 200 because the first two boosters have 4 cards each that are any good.
completely fair. But I mean, as far as this card is concerned, I don't think you're gonna have enough space at level 0 to run it, especially when certain parts of your level 0 game is on lock. For instance, you're probably running 2 to 3 of the Brainstormer. You're probably running 3 to 4 of the on attack top check, add to hand ditch, and you're probably running 4 of apples. So doesn't give you a
Yeah.
lot of room
Yeah.
at level 0 to work with anymore.
Yeah.
Agreed on all counts.
Probably the rest of
Okay.
your slots are filled with bombs.
Not in Madoka, apparently.
Next up,
We've got a 3/5
Yep.
that has 1 cost draw ditch,
and gains 1500 if you have 6 or more cards in hand.
and it's Sayaka.
I mean,
Yep.
the redeeming factor is it has Sayaka in the name.
I think it's
I-
actually one of the better oversizes.
Yeah, this is easily 2 of in the deck, just because it has Sayaka name and it has pay 1 ditch 1,
The
and it's
filter's great.
overstatted. Yeah.
Yeah. Being
Like, I
oversized
used to
is nice.
run the 4K Marika that had this effect, and it pulled weight.
Yeah, I actually still run that card as a 1 of in my Niseko
Yeah,
deck.
I'm down to 1 as well, because I decided 4 bomb is just
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, my level starter game in that deck too doesn't even care about winning anyway at 0.
Mhm.
Yeah, but this card
Why win
is
when you can
awesome.
just run?
You're
It's
right.
got Sayaka in the name. Anyway, then the first blue card that does not have Sayaka in the name.
It's Cube, and it's a
Jesus
6/5.
Christ. Is
If
the
you
QB
have,
deck going to be 4 colors?
yes,
Yeah,
That's disgusting.
it's also gonna be bad.
yeah.
This is 6/5. Having 7 cards, 6 or 7 cards at level 1 is way harder than level 0.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
it sucks
can't-
too because you can't really counter efficiently all the time now.
Exactly, because you lose power and then you gain power, and it's just mediocre.
Yep. Doesn't have Sayaka in the name.
Yeah, like I run into that problem with the Persona Clock Encore all the time, and that's
Yes.
5 or more cards in hand.
Yes, the Elizabeth.
Yeah,
Dang,
which is
really?
great, by the way.
My friend plays Persona, like never has that problem. I think the only time I ever had that problem was when I played the 1/1 in rewrite just for fun. I played the blue deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fairness, I haven't actually put level 1 counters in a Persona deck for a long time,
Yeah.
so it might actually be okay.
Yeah.
But I do remember that I had issues when Persona 4 Ultimate first came out.
I wouldn't run the Cube.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, like I don't know why it's not common. I guess it is a 6/5 costless.
All right, Sayaka combination
1 cost 2k1 with the 2k1 soul. Is it?
to heal.
Yes.
Climax combo to heal. At least it has Sayaka in the name.
Um,
This card is
I
like.
don't know how to rate this card.
Okay, this card would be decent if it had a changer. It doesn't. So I think this card is like pretty useless because everyone usually plays anti-heal. I guess in a random like fringe world where no one plays anti-heal, then this card could be randomly good, but it's still very weak.
It's- still doesn't, like-
In a random fringe world where no one plays anti-heal, there are better healing decks and you get out-healed.
Exactly. You just play like the capo or
Exactly.
heal for days. It doesn't even matter. Haruhi even. Jeez, even SAO has a better heal looping shenanigans than this Sayaka.
All right, but let's be real. None of those decks have Sayaka in the name.
This is true.
Yes, I agree completely. Yeah, after further inspection, I think she has to be best girl. I don't like anyone else. Anyway, next card, another one that doesn't have Sayaka in the name. QB going Q.
Yes. So you
That
can have
is
as many of these as you
stupid
want,
name.
and the card is still bad. This is probably one of like the worst army cards I've seen in a long time.
It has a way to keep up your army, but even then, I think it's still the worst army deck.
Yeah.
Like, Sisters doesn't really have a way to keep up, but then you have a 1-cost tap to clock and search.
Exactly. And then even then, like your deck just kind of scales with levels, so it's like your army just gets better and better. This army not so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sold on this card. It's a 2k. Like, at least Sisters got power,
Yep.
and Squids are good, and Vajras. You're playing Macross, so you don't have very high standards.
And roaches have 2/2 clock kickers.
Yes, Roach deck is really scary.
Dude,
I don't
you're-
call that a gimmick swarm deck. I think that's a legit
when you're
deck.
running 4+2 souls and 4 pants to go with it,
Your living dream.
God damn.
you find things to fear.
Shall we move on?
Yes, vanilla, but it
That
has
has
Sayaka
Sayaka
in
in
the
it.
name.
Automatically better than any other.
This
3K
card
card.
should have been 2,500 power. Let's be real.
Even if it was 2,500 power, I would still run this over 3K vanilla because it has
That
Sayaka in
balance,
the name.
man. That balance.
Like,
You should work for Bushiroad.
Oh man, no, they pay like garbage for their R&D department. Why would I go out there for that?
okay.
Yeah, there was a
I
posting
guess.
for their job thing, and it was like minimum wage. I was
Oh,
like, dang.
sad days.
You don't even need that information. Have you seen how much bad plus power filler there is in this set? Their R&D obviously doesn't care.
Oh man.
You could get paid for doing nothing.
Okay, so we have Incredible Chan Sayaka. It's a 4K
With
with a terrible, terrible drawback.
All right.
Even having Sayaka in the name does not redeem this card.
Oh no, I think it does a little.
No, no, no. I don't think this card is horrible as like it
Only because it has
should
Sayaka
be.
in the name.
No, no, no. Because we play. My friend built a blue girlfriend's deck running a card exactly like this, but we leave it in the back row the entire game
Just
to
a
top check, just so we can mill the climax for the +4 soul on the 1/0 blue. But besides that, yeah, the card is like not gonna see play really.
No. No.
Yeah.
I guess this does have some synergy with Sayaka looks up to Mommy in that you can choose to attack with it when you don't have a climax on top.
Yeah.
If you reveal a
You
climax.
could for sure figure out what order things are going to be happening.
Can we please stop trying to defend this card? No one's gonna run it.
No, you shouldn't run it though.
Well, you say this now. Wait till my list comes out.
I
Four
swear
of
to
it. No.
I swear to God.
Okay, next up, Sayaka Hill in the Morning Sun.
This
Going-
is what you talked about.
Yes,
1K
going with
victory.
the Hill in the Morning Sun card that every single girl has in this set. Even the
They've got a lot of
names,
cycles.
even the names
Yeah.
are boring and repetitive.
When I first saw this
Wow.
card, I was really hyped for it, and then I actually read the ability, and I was like, "Damn, now I'm sad."
Yeah, it's during your opponent's turn, which is tragic. But I mean, if it was during both turns, it would probably be costed.
No, like,
There's also
oh,
the fact
God.
it doesn't support Psycho. It only supports
Yeah.
Yeah, it only supports Kyoko. And seeing as you're level
which is
1,
amazing though.
yeah, I mean, like if you're running the 2 soul level 1 combo with a plus level support, you're looking at some enormous walls.
You know, like Draw Ditch is like a quarter of the way to a Katsuki. Pretty damn good, man.
Close, but no cigar.
God damn it.
Hey, but it has Sayaka in the name. That's what matters.
It's all
I
that
guess,
matters in
but you
life.
don't run that in a Sayaka deck. Like, in order to capitalize off Sayaka's wish, you can't run this in your deck.
Yeah, exactly. This doesn't do anything for you otherwise.
Okay, we've got a counter that has Sayaka in the name, which makes it
Yeah.
the best counter to play onto the field.
You know what's great?
Yes.
You know what's great about this though? This is like the third 1500 counter in this set. Like
Oh,
vanilla
well, one of
1500
them
set
had
counter.
shift.
No, like this is like the third vanilla 1500 counter.
Is it actually?
Yeah,
I'm
every
fairly
color has a vanilla counter in this deck other than yellow.
oh, Bushy Road.
like
Bushy Road.
it's like why did they think it was necessary to have 3 of this?
Oh my god, is this the second 2-1 vanilla that's not magic trait?
Yes.
Good
It's teacher
God.
glasses.
Oh man.
Good god.
And we get to
Okay,
event.
last two cards. So we have Cantrip, Pump 2k, Compress a little for 1 cost.
Mediocre.
It's not
I don't-
Sayaka's wish.
Not good enough to play in a deck.
Basically.
2/2 command removal. Cute.
I like this card, but it's like one of those things where like I like it, but you know I can't always justify running it.
I could never justify running it.
I think I'm with Alf on this one. I just don't see why you would make space to run this event.
Well,
2
man,
costs to
Gotta
not
kill that
play
back
a level
row.
3. What back row matters?
Like,
Hmm.
you're not
I'll
generally
figure out something.
too concerned about anti-heal at this point.
I reckon what you can do, you can kill Fairy Tail decks that try to compress with the 1/1 marker card. You can kill Devil Survivor decks that do the same. You can.
Okay, but if you're doing that against Devil Survivor, it's like, they're not gonna get Lucifer out anyways, like...
The best number of Lucifer is 0.
Oh man,
But
this is
what
super
you have to
good.
do is you have to show them the card. You have to read them the effects, tell them what Lucifer does when it gets a marker, and then you run no Lucifer.
It's like, the Lucifer is, like, unreasonably difficult to get out.
Oh, it's pretty fun when you get it out though. Okay, so that's done. That's the set done. Let's move on to the promos quickly.
I don't see the promo...
Oh wait, there's
are
one
they-
last card randomly, I guess, if you guys care. They for some reason they put a full version of one of the
I don't.
PRs.
Sorry.
The 3/2 clock kick PR. It comes foil in this set. It's like
Yes.
the very last card.
That's
at
one of
the
the
end.
SPs, that's
Yeah.
right.
It's sweet art. It's sweet art. You got to say that much.
I mean, that is a hell of a card to be adding into the boxes, though. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
Like, that
I was
promo,
surprised when I opened it.
that
I was like,
promo
what?
Homura is very, very good.
Agreed. It salvaged the set when it needed it,
Yeah.
and it'll continue to support the set.
Let's hope the Index Comeback campaign can do the same for Toma.
I cry every night, every single night.
Oh,
Okay, shall
man.
we quickly do the SD cards?
Sure.
Alright, so we've got a 1-0 Mami, it's yellow and it's Mami, therefore it's a Mami.deck card.
Yeah,
Yep.
this card is
What
the
does it
same
even-
like the others. It gains 500 for every other magic character, or for all magic characters when you play it from your hand, and then
And
it
then
has
it
for the
becomes a
turn.
terrible
Yeah.
Encore.
Yeah, then it has Encore for some reason.
You
Yeah,
might
found it.
want to filter. Okay, next we have SD Nugsa, which power creeps the Kud from the first LB set.
What's the could do?
It's a 2/2/3K counter.
Wow.
This one is
Yeah.
2/4K counter.
That's so-
Abusable with the stock Madoka. All right.
It's straight creep. Kankole has this as well. I'm complaining because it's straight power creep. Bushiroad is obviously not leashed their R&D department tightly enough.
I mean, I'm sure you realized it was power creep years ago when 2-1 3K counters were a thing.
I was
Up in arms about that.
I got on
game's
the
ruined.
streets outside my locals with a placard. I made a sign. Okay, next we got Madoka, SD Madoka. It's a 3.5 with the best drawback. I love this
Yeah.
drawback. When
It's
you
the-
mill a card, milling is great, and then if it's a climax, it goes to stock.
Yep. I
Not the
love this
climax, the
card.
Madoka.
Yeah, very serviceable splash.
Yeah, like ever since this was printed as a Persona 4 Arena card, Persona 4 animation card, I've loved it. It's just great.
Yep. Can't complain about it.
So then we have the promo Homero, which is +1 level, +1K if they're...
Nothing else in the front row.
So
And Soul
that's a good
Technique, I
card.
guess, it's very good.
it's worse. Well, no, it's better than the Terraformers Adolf, just because, or not Adolf, Joseph, because it's no other front row, which means you can pump it with back row.
The only point where this is worse than the 0/0 if you have two or less other characters 3/5 Madoka is when you really want to attack multiple times.
Yes.
And at that point, if you really want to attack multiple times, just do it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No. Okay. So next is a Sayaka and a Kyoko, which go with each other.
Yeah,
If you've got one of each on the field,
they
they're,
buff the other by
they're
2K.
9/5. And if you've got two of each on the field, they're both 11/5.
At which point you
And-
should have just run the 1-1 and used the Climax combo.
If I ever see someone with two SD Sayakas and two SD Kyokos on the field, I'm gonna give them a high five and then never take them seriously again.
Well, I gotta say the one promo is better than the other.
Yeah, that's very
The-
true.
I mean,
Are we done beating this horse to death or what?
Look, I'm doing this for you, man. Like you're the one who thinks this is best girl, and again, I have to
Oh,
agree because I don't
man.
like anyone else.
wonderful. Sayaka, though, it's just so silly.
Yep. So I guess we've gone for quite a while. In closing, do you want to just do a top 3 cards in the booster?
Okay, number 1, anything with Sayaka in the name, specifically the
Yeah.
specifically the 3/2 Sayaka
Alright.
double her.
Mhm.
Number 2,
Like, be as opinionated as you want.
clock kicking Homero.
Yeah, we're gonna cover the bases between us.
And number 3, what would I give to number 3?
It's hard, isn't it? All the non-RR cards are just so mediocre.
I mean, it's like all the remaining RR cards are pretty... I guess it goes
Yeah.
to the bomb, the level 1 bomb in
Yeah,
red.
pretty much.
I mean, that's all that really comes to mind is like outlandish, and it's not even that
Alright.
outlandish. I mean, besides that, if you're going down the list more like, I guess I'd like the Spammable Brainstormer.
How about a sleeper card? A card that people might not think is good, but you might like.
Oh, damn, I gotta like think about this. You guys go first.
Yeah.
I
Dang,
clearly haven't thought about the set enough.
You want my top 3 then really quick then?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright. I guess number 1 is the Double R Homura Clock Shoot. It's like my favorite card in the set. Think second. Dang, this is too hard. All the cards are SAG in the name. I actually really like the Sayaka level support a lot, just because of like the mind game it kind
Yeah,
of
fair
plays,
enough.
and the pay to tap it randomly can become relevant, because you can just search out whatever you need.
Of course, it's never a bad thing.
Yeah, I think the last card I really like actually is the overstated Sayaka that has pay one, draw one, discard one. I really like that card.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
I
think
can
it.
understand that.
The zero
Yeah,
zero, yes.
yeah, the 0/0. I don't think it's gonna be like a 4 or anything crazy like that, but I think it's just like good enough that it like should at least make my top five. I think top three is like good enough for it.
Yeah, no problem. Do you have a
Yeah.
sleeper card?
Huh. I really feel like I don't. Even though it's like overhyped, I still think the double R Madoka 1/0 like can randomly be like really busted.
It's not a double R.
Double R. I
Or
mean,
yeah, rare. Sorry, the 1/0 climax combo one. I think it's only really silly because it climax combos with stock soul.
yeah, no, that's fair.
I really wish
Um,
this set had a yellow two soul. Like that would be my sleeper card right there. It could combo with absolutely nothing, and I would still say that that's the card.
me personally, I have to agree with the double R clock kick being the best card in the set. It just is. Like, that's just what I think. As for the second best, it would be the bomb for me because it supports the existing game plan of have kind of fat cards and adds that new mode of just bomb whatever you can't deal with. That gets a lot worse because there's been a lot of unbombable stuff as of late, but it's still pretty good. And my third card, it's a bit hard actually. Probably the level 3 Sayaka. I just like the advanced summon, I like the 4K, I like the option of having pants.
Nothing strikes me as like a real sleeper in the set.
I think the 3/5 yellow event might be
Might be a
close to
sleeper.
a sleeper.
I
Close to
would
a
be like
sleeper.
way more inclined to say it's a sleeper if there was a two soul.
Also, the 2/2 Homura summon is, I think that's got potential.
Yeah, that card definitely does have potential.
Even outside of like the dedicated OTP decks.
Clearly, the solution is to use a 2/2 event to play the promo Homura.
Promora, that...
Don't do that. Please don't do
No,
that.
no, no. You got to play the level 3 from the first set that I can't actually remember what it does because it was entirely unremarkable.
It had some combo with the Madoka, but that might be a different one. Let's find it.
Recollection, if Ultimate Madoka's in memory, gets 1/5.
That's right.
And when front attacked, scry.
Yep, it was bad.
Which is pretty kick-ass.
Except the
I
only
love
way
that.
to get Ultimate Madoka to memory was to run the Climax combo.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Alright, that's the set. Are we
Yeah,
done?
that is. I
guess
guess
Yeah,
so.
we're done with the set that only took
2.5
quite
hours.
a while. Yeah, 2 and a bit hours. No, I think it's very, very oriented towards the RR cards. They're definitely the best cards in the set. And you're probably cracking a booster for those double R cards. But I think that it's quite serviceable. It opens up some new avenues for monocolor and two-color decks that aren't the meta. But as we've repeated literally as many times as there have been cards with Sayaka and vanillas without Sayaka in the name, the old game plan will probably still continue to dominate for the first part of its release, at any rate.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if anything that wasn't like that, mono yellow, or a deck around the 2/2 Kyoko went anywhere, because I think those are the only particularly viable decks right now.
Yeah.
Or you could like splash yellow into the old deck and drop, I don't know, red.
I mean, there's no reason to really drop red, though, because you can always just run the Kyoko if you want an extra finisher option.
I think that if you decide to splash yellow for whatever reason,
I guess if you splash yellow for level 1, but then...
red is like the weakest color.
Yeah.
Maybe, green is really good now, actually. Like, the free fresh used to be all you ran it for,
Yeah.
and now it's actually got, like, finishers and good stuff.
It got like a lot of good support.
I don't think the set is quite good enough. Like, I don't think yellow is good enough to warrant 4-color, nor do I think the set has what is needed to sustain 4-color and still have a good ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be English Fairy Tale or Toolbox LB to do 4-color and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, I think that's mostly the set review. Any other closing comments?
Not gonna hype your channel, Kit?
Oh, I guess doing shoutouts and everything. Dang,
Yeah,
now
so-
now that I think about it, though, man, this level 3 Kyoko might be sleeper also. All right.
I wouldn't call it a sleeper because I think it's a
I don't
genuinely good
know.
card.
I think a lot of people gave it like a lot of flack right when it got released.
What?
Like
It's-
or
Really?
spoiled.
What? It's literally
Didn't
just-
it? I don't remember. I just remember reading on forum group people complaining that
Man,
wasn't good.
That
And I
card
was just like,
profile
all
is
right,
like a better version of a card that once got restricted, and is still restricted.
dang. All right then, sure.
Unrestrict me, Sakura. I know you're listening, Bushiroad. Unrestricted.
Oh man. All right, so what? Shoutouts then.
Yeah, go for it,
I'll
Kit.
go for it.
All right. I guess if you guys don't know me, I'm run the BurnOne YouTube channel and like really. Oh, I don't know if we can call it blog anymore. More like historical writing area where I have really old writings of things I wrote before when I cared. Yeah, so you can find like stuff that I write and do videos on at like, I guess BurnOne on YouTube if you search it. I actually don't think I have a link for that anymore. But yeah, so you can find that, or you can randomly find me complaining on foreign group or whatever. Oh, you know what? I do have a Facebook.com/BurnOne blog, one spelled out, not with the numerical one. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Me
As
and-
for me and W Kim, we run toptiertears.wordpress.com, and we publish content whenever we feel like we have the time.
Basically,
which
whenever
is-
Lychee wants to write something, he does it, and whenever we make a video, I'm here.
Yes, it's been a pleasure having you, Kit. Feel free to use this wherever, and I hope we can have you again because you've been a very insightful guest.
Thanks, yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always good to reinforce who the best girl is.
I know, right?
That's what